Conclusion: Pandemics and the Future of Disease Detection. Way back in 1967, the top doctor in the United States famously declared, "We can now close the book on infectious disease." He believed that the story of epidemics and outbreaks was over, and it had ended with everyone living happily ever after, in a disease-free world. When we look back at those words, they seem incredibly optimistic. It is hard to imagine a scientist making that claim today. They'd be more likely to say that we haven't yet finished reading the first chapter on infectious disease. To be fair, at the time, it really did look as if science was winning the war against disease. Vaccination campaigns were wiping out smallpox and polio, diseases that had killed millions in the past. They were good treatments for other feared killer diseases like tuberculosis. DDT and other pesticides were keeping mosquitoes at bay, so diseases like yellow fever and malaria were no longer such a danger. More than 50 years later, those diseases that were thought to be gone forever have surged back, resisting the drugs that we once thought had defeated them. Mosquitoes now transmit nearly emerged diseases to humans, adding West Nile, Zika, and chikungunya to the list of mosquito-borne viruses that infect humans, along with yellow fever and dengue fever. And now, of course, there's COVID-19, the latest virus to make the leap from animals to humans. The reasons behind the return of old diseases and the emergence of new diseases are complex. In some cases, we depended too much on the miracle cures of drugs and forgot simple things, like how washing our hands with soap can take care of many viruses. We pushed back the wilderness at an unprecedented rate, logging forests, building towns and farms, and generally disrupting ecosystems where animals and their microbes have been living together for thousands of years, leaving us largely alone. We looked for others to blame when outbreaks happened instead of accepting that we're all connected and that we each have a role and responsibility in maintaining our collective health and the health of our planet. At the end of epidemic or pandemic, after we have been staying home and maintaining social distance, doing our best not to spread a disease that is already endangering our communities, it's natural to wonder, is it safe to go out again? Is it okay to see friends? Will everything that was closed reopen? Will there be another wave of infections? Most of all, what we really want to know is, when will everything go back to normal? The short answer is, when the rate of new infections slow down, flattening the epidemic curve. The clearest way to reach that goal is to vaccinate as many people as possible. The tough answer is that maybe life will never go back to normal, and maybe it shouldn't. COVID-19 started with a virus that lived in an animal that jumped to a human and that in a matter of weeks spread all over the globe. That should be a wake-up call to the world about how closely we are all linked, viruses, animals, and people. For us to continue to survive, we need to find a way to live in a balance with our ecosystem neighbors. The health of human beings is connected to the health of wildlife and the microbes that they support. When we invade their territory, clearing bush and felling trees to make more room for ourselves, our actions have consequences for our well-being. After the last great pandemic, the Spanish flu of 1918, people tried to forget and move on, looking ahead to a new century of progress in which they hope to defeat diseases. Every epidemic and pandemic presents an opportunity to do things a little differently, to remember and to learn from the past. As you get ready to close this book on infectious disease, don't imagine that you heard the last of our friends, the microbes. For good and for bad, they're a part of our world, and our future probably holds more new diseases, more epidemics, and even pandemics. And we will continue to depend on disease detectives, both human and wildlife epidemiologists, to help keep us safe.